Hello there, my single mother tribe. How are you doing? I'm Hope Porter, founder and CEO of Hope for Single Mothers LLC. And today I'm coming to you with Jumpstart Your Week Sunday. Occasionally I like to post videos just to encourage you, give you a jump start into a new week. And so today I am going to be talking to you and giving you some tools and equipping you and giving you some suggestions on how to move forward in the midst of adversity and hard times. I know we've been going through this pandemic this year, and a lot of you may have been experiencing hard times and difficulties and distress. And I, of course, have, during my 15 years of being a single mother, have had my share of adversity and hard times. And so I believe that I am qualified to walk you through this process and to offer and to provide with to you tools and to equip you with some information I believe that would help you to navigate through hard times and adversity. I know for myself that I have utilized these tools and this information myself, and it has helped me out tremendously to be able to overcome adversity and outlast adversity. So before I get started, if you can go ahead and do me a favor, if you can go ahead and share this broadcast, I would greatly appreciate it. And also go ahead and like. That way, on Facebook, I know that they've changed a lot of their algorithm. So this will help my video to get out and to reach more single mothers and to be able to empower and equip more single mothers. Okay. So yeah, so like I said before, I know a lot of you may have been experiencing a lot of distress and just going through some hard times. I know that, people have been laid off and furloughed from work, and just, unfortunately, just a lot has happened this year already in the midst of this pandemic. And I just want to offer, like I said, some tools that I believe would help you to be able to outlast adversity and overcome it. And most importantly, I used to look at adversity as a negative connotation, as a negative thing, but just going through a lot of things that I have encountered and faced and even suffered, I have found adversity to be a teacher for me. I have found adversity to really develop me and grow me into the person that I am today. And so adversity is not always negative. It just depends on perspective. And so that's one of the things that I would like to start off with, is basically talking about, perspective and how you see hard times. And I'm not saying that hard times are not bad. I'm not diminishing or minimizing what you're going through and, just the feelings that you may be feeling and the hardship that you may be experiencing. I'm not doing that. What I would like to present to you is another another perspective to look at it, just to help you to navigate through this tough time and to navigate to the other side of this, because there is another side of this. This is not going to last always. Hard times do not last always. I know it sometimes may feel like it. Believe me, trust me, I've been through enough in my lifetime, especially as a single mother. And sometimes, I remember there were times and seasons of my life where it just seemed like it would never end. It was just one thing after another. But I'm here to tell you that trouble don't last always. I know that's a cliche, but it's true. Nevertheless, that trouble doesn't last always. And so I found for myself in the past that I exerted so much energy, unnecessary energy, because I reacted, and I didn't see at first. It took me a while, but I did not understand the purpose of adversity. I didn't gain the right perspective about adversity, and so I kind of handled it incorrectly, which there were some things, some lessons to be learned that I just really didn't learn. And I had to go through it again. And so, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, so I want to start off and just let you know that for myself, I believe one of the important things and key things about adversity is just learning the purpose of it, because there is a purpose. It may not seem like it, may not feel like it, and you may not initially know it. I don't think that any of us, we see it coming. It's usually unexpected. It's something that we're usually not prepared for. But if we look at it from a different perspective and gain a different perspective, that we will find that adversity can actually help us. It can actually teach us. It can actually grow us. It can actually promote us and advance us, depending on how we look at it, how we handle it, and the perspective through which we look at it. So evaluating the situation is really key. I am a firm believer in investigating before responding. And I know that doesn't always happen, or it comes natural. Most people have a tendency to react to situations instead of, taking some time and stepping back to evaluate the situation. And so I believe that when you react, that you usually don't have all the information that you need to be able to know how to handle what you're reacting to. And that's why it's so important to evaluate so that you can gain a better understanding. I say that you can't overcome what you are ignorant of and what you don't understand. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You cannot overcome what you are ignorant of and what you don't understand. So if you're ignorant of the purpose of adversity, it will be hard for you to position yourself and to be able to equip yourself to know how to respond to this, how to handle it. So I would suggest evaluating the situation in order to gain insight and to gain wisdom that you need to know how to handle hard times and adversity. Adversity will either, I believe that adversity will do several things. It will either grow you, it'll change you, it'll train you, it'll make you, or if you look at it from a negative standpoint, it can even break you. So it's very important. That's why it's just so important to have the right perspective and not to react, to respond. I can remember times of working and I work in the housing sector, the public house. I work in the government housing sector. And before I got promoted to my current position, I dealt a lot with the public, mainly single mothers. And there were plenty of times when, they would come into the office and they received different letters, maybe, 3-day letters or eviction letters or, just some type of letter that, really kind of, they really didn't understand, basically. And so most of the time, they would come in and just be hysterical, and I would have to talk them off a ledge. And a lot of times I found out that after I gave them a better understanding of the situation, one, they began to calm down. Two, they realized that the situation wasn't as critical as it had appeared to be initially, because now they had a better understanding of what was going on. So that's why I said it's so important to understand. You may not have all the information, you may not, have all the details, but to gain a general understanding about what it is that you're going through. You may not be able to answer all the questions, like, why is this happening to me? Why now? Why me? Those questions may not be answered. You may never get the answer to those questions, but one thing that you can do is to step back to get a different perspective of the situation and really look at it from a different viewpoint. Having the right perspective, it changes things. It can determine how you see and how you respond to what you see. So, a lot of times when we are faced with hard times, we feel like we're out of control. We have a sense of, we feel that sense of being out of control. But one thing I've learned, that even though everything else around you may be going or spinning out of control, one thing that we do have control over is we have control over our responses. We have control over how we choose to handle every situation that we encounter and experience. That is something that I believe that we have control over and can't be taken away from us, okay? And also, having the right perspective, it changes things. It may not change the situation necessarily, at least not right away, but it will certainly, or can certainly, change how you choose to respond. And, having the right perspective about what we're going through, about adversity, it can help us to see situations and adverse circumstances from a panoramic view instead of a narrow point of view. Panoramic view, it gives you a full view. When you look at things from a panoramic view, it gives you a full circle type of view from it, as opposed to just kind of having a narrow-minded type of perspective or focus on it. It expands our capacity by giving us insight that we may not have had before, because now we understand it. We see it from a different angle. We have a different perspective about it. And if we could just adjust our focus and remove ourselves. Sometimes in order to gain a better perspective about something, we need to physically, or we may have to remove ourselves from the situation. It may be physically, it may be mentally, it may be emotionally, but sometimes it requires for us to mentally, emotionally, or physically, or all three, remove ourselves from the proximity of that situation just long enough to gain a different perspective, and so that we can, be able to have a bird's eye view of it, to see in those blind spots that we may not have been able to see before. And so I know a lot, like I said, as I was giving you an example, when I was, have been working with single mothers, a lot of times they would just come into the office hysterical and just crying, and I would just have to talk them down and just encourage them. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10 times, it was because they saw the situation from a different perspective, and I was able to give them that insight that they didn't have before, because I'm on the outside, so I can look at it from a different standpoint or different viewpoint. So once I was able to help them to see it from a different standpoint and viewpoint, then they were equipped, or they had enough information, they had enough of knowledge to be able to adjust their focus, adjust their perspective, and to be able to handle it in a different way than they had initially handled it, okay? And so, as I said before, we do have control over how we choose to respond. We have control over our feelings. Yes, we do. I know sometimes it seems like emotions just get carried away, and it seems like sometimes we just don't have control over our emotions, but we really do. We have control over our emotions. We have the power to control our emotions, and not our emotions control us. And, believe it or not, I believe that's one of the most important things to do, is to control, because your emotions will take you places that you can't get sometimes you can't get yourself out of, and you'll take you places that you never knew that you can go, and that could be good or bad. But yeah, so I think it's very important to really gain control of your emotions, so that you will be able to really be, have a clear mind and a clear perspective of how you are seeing things and handling things, because a lot of times our emotions play tricks on us. Our emotions, we can't really trust our emotions to a certain extent. We feel what we feel. Things may be true to how we feel, but at the same time, sometimes we kind of have to draw the line with our emotions, and really kind of put things in retrospect and look at it from a different perspective, as opposed to just getting carried away in our emotions, whether it be anger, whether it be depression, whether it be, just hysteria, whether it be fear, especially with fear and anxiety. You know, I used to be a worry wart. I'm telling you, I think I was the poster child for worrying. And I can't tell you how many times I just worried myself unnecessarily. I spent so much energy worrying over things that were just so unnecessary. You know, I worried about how I was going to pay the bills. I worried about how sometimes how many children going to eat or how the baby's going to eat. I worried about, you know, how they were going to get back and forth to school when I didn't have transportation. And, you know, they, you know, weren't going to school on the bus. And, you know, I was worried about how the bills were going to get paid. And, you know, and I spent countless hours and so much of my time worrying about something that, you know, God had already taken care of for me. And I remember at times I would literally just wear myself out in worrying, just wear myself out. And, you know, at the end of the day, I was taken care of, the children were taken care of, everything worked out. And I would just think to myself, like, Hope, you spend all of this energy worrying about nothing that worked itself out anyhow, you know. And so I've learned from myself that, you know, I've learned to live a life of peace, and that's something I just refuse to compromise. I will not compromise my peace for no one or nothing. I have to live in peace. I have to be in peace. Peace is like, it's life to me, because I went so long and I spent so many years not without it. You know, I spent so many years in just worrying, and so many years just being, you know, just being tormented in fear and in worry. And so now that I've lived a life of peace for so many years now, I just refuse to give that up. So, you know, like I said, I had to adjust and learn how to look at life and how to look at circumstances, because there's just some circumstances that are unavoidable. There's some things that, you know, we just have to experience to go through. It's just a part of life. And so, especially as a single mother, you know, I just had to learn how to weather, how to overcome adversity, and not just for myself, but for my children. And it's funny because my children, they think I'm, you know, everyone just says, you're so calm. You just, you know, you just seem like you just don't have a care in the world. And I'm like, well, you just don't know my past. You see me as I am today. But I'm telling you, I used to be such a worry wart. And when I learned how to live in peace, how to pursue peace with all diligence, I'm telling you, I didn't let that thing go. I live a life of peace, because I know what it's like to live in fear and worry and just live in turmoil. And that's not the life that I, you know, desire for myself. So anyway, as I was saying, we have control. We do. We have control over our emotions, and we have to get those emotions under control. If we don't, our emotions will have us places doing things, and when we come up, you know, when we come to, we will, you know, we'll think to ourselves, well, how in the world did I get here? How did I do that? Or why did I do that? So yeah, so it's important to have control over our emotions and not have, you know, allow our emotions to have control over us. You can control whether or not you become bitter or better. You know, you can control whether or not you choose to move on, as I'm giving you these tools to be able to navigate you through hard times so that you can get to the other side. And so you have a choice. You do have a choice. You have a choice on how you're going to handle adversity. You have a choice whether you're going to give in, or you're going to give up, or you're going to succumb to it, or whether you are going to overcome it and outlast it and get on the other side of it. But it's all up to you. You know, as a woman of faith and a disciple and follower of Jesus Christ, I have control over whether I choose. And as I said, you know, years when I was younger, I spent so many years worrying and in fear. But, you know, I've learned and I've made a conscious decision, because for me, it's a daily decision. It's not as though I never have problems. It's not as though my life is perfect. That's not the case. But how I choose to respond to adverse circumstances and situations makes all the difference. So I choose where before I would worry, I would be in fear. I choose now to cast my cares upon the Lord. I choose to trust God in situations and problems and just in general. I trust Him with everything, but especially when problems look too big and impossible for me to solve, I trust in Him knowing that He has the solution to every problem and that nothing is too hard or impossible for Him. It may be impossible for me. It may be too hard for me, but it is not impossible for Him. So that's the choice and decision that I have made as a believer, that I choose to live a life of faith. I choose to put my trust in God. I choose peace over worry and fear. I choose that life. And so it's a conscious decision that I sometimes have to make on a daily basis, depending on what I encounter on a daily basis. Okay. So basically what I'm saying, it's all up to you, because what? You are in control of you. You may not be able to control situations or circumstances. You may not be able to control people, but one thing I can guarantee is that you are in control of yourself. And so since we are in control of ourselves, let's, do a better job of being in control of ourselves and using those tools that I have just introduced you to help you to look at, adversity and hard times from a different perspective and really to control how you respond to. You don't have to react. You can respond, but not react. Okay. And another thing about it is I found that there are lessons to be learned in hard times. If you take, like I said, if you take a moment to kind of just step back out of that situation and look at it from a different perspective, you can really investigate and evaluate it and see what is it that I can learn in this situation. I guarantee you that just about everything that we encounter in regards to adversity, there's a lesson to be learned. Did you know that, if you don't pass a class in high school and college that you need in order to graduate, you're going to have to repeat that course. So, life is the same way. I don't know about you, but I don't like repeating certain things. I can remember when my children were younger, especially, and I didn't like having to tell them to do things more than once. That just really irritated me, especially if I gave them clear, concise, and thorough instructions. And even now as an adult, I certainly don't like having to do things over again, especially if I could have done it right the first time around. So one thing that I have learned is to learn the lesson that adversity is coming to teach me so that I won't have to go through that thing again or stay in it longer than what I'm supposed to or could stay in it. And so just like high school and college, life is like high school and college, and each season of our lives offers a whole new set of courses that we must take in order to advance to the next level. And adversity is the teacher or professor who provides the knowledge, the tools, and equips us for our purpose and for our future. So another way of looking at adversity is, like I said, to gain a better perspective of it, get a bird's eye view of it by kind of stepping outside of it, taking a moment to kind of step back and evaluate it and get an understanding of the purpose of it. And also to see it as a lesson. For example, we've all experienced lean times in our finances when we had a financial need or we were in a crisis, and we had to learn how to be resourceful. Especially as single mothers, we learn how to be resourceful. I tell you, we come up with some creative things. We learn how to stretch the dollar. We know how to find things and create things to provide and to make ends meet. And so, I've found through, times of adversity, especially financially, that I learned how to be more resourceful. I learned how to be a better manager of my money. And I was able to tap into resources that I would have not even considered or didn't even know that were available had I not gone through that time of financial hardship or financial or had a financial need. Adversity can teach you so much about yourself and about others, but mainly and especially about yourself. You will discover, I don't know about you, but I have discovered strength that I never knew I had. Never knew I had. When I started my single mother journey, I did not think I had the ability, the capacity to raise 5 children all by myself. I was scared out of my mind. And I didn't think I can do it. I didn't think that I had what it took to raise 5 children and to provide for them. But during the 15 years of me being a single mother, I have gained strength that I didn't realize I had. I didn't even know that I was as strong as I am. And because of, adversity, because of, me going through hard times, it stretched me. And it caused me to use muscles that I never used before, because I didn't have to use it, because I wasn't in a situation before where I had to use it. I found that, adversity will develop your skills, and you'll discover talent that you didn't even know that you had. Earlier in my broadcast, and I encourage you to check it out and go look at it. Yesterday, I did a broadcast with Dr. Salathia Holly, and we had a Hope for Single Mothers meeting, and I interviewed her, and we were talking about, struggling as single mothers, our struggles that we had with loneliness and overcoming loneliness and getting to a point where we were content and we were thriving as being single and being a mother. And so, I was telling her, as far as, what I'm doing now, being a CEO and founder of a nonprofit organization, having a ministry, having business, they're just different things like that. Being a single mother has taught me how to be resourceful. It's taught me how to be a leader in my own home, and it's equipped me with the tools to be able to go outside my home and lead as well. Of course, I've taken courses. I have gone to college for organizational management. I've got, I have a degree in organizational management. So I've, of course, went through the training, but also being a single mother has been my training ground for, I'm telling you, being a single mother has taught me things that I don't know if I could have learned outside of being a single mother. So, adversity will be a teacher to you if you allow it to teach you. Adversity can develop character. I have, so much of my character has been developed. I'm a different person now than I was when I started 15 years ago. And adversity has really developed my character and really kind of shaped me into the woman that I am. And so, and these are just positive aspects, there's so many lessons that adversity can teach you if you allow it. Now, I am not glamorizing adversity. And in fact, there's nothing glamorous about struggling and facing adverse circumstances. However, since it's virtually impossible to live this life without going through hard times or facing some type of adversity, we may as well learn how to outlast it, how to overcome it, and even how to use it to our advantage. So I'm just, letting you know that, adversity is not always hard. And I've found for myself the quickest way to get through it and to not have to repeat it, or, to really be equipped to handle different things that come along, is to learn the lesson that adversity can teach you. Okay. And also, another key point about how to move forward in the midst of hard times and adversity, I know for myself, by default, I'm an introvert. I'm only extroverted because within my calling and my life's assignment, it requires me to be extroverted. I have to be extroverted. I don't think I could fulfill and accomplish and walk out my life's calling and purpose and be extroverted. But so I have I had to learn, and even sometimes I still kind of gravitate towards withdrawing, because as introverts, we refresh and we regroup, and and we, we gain our strength by kind of withdrawing, whereas extroverts, they get their energy and their strength from being around people. Extroverts, it's quite opposite for us, that we need times of where we need to push back and withdraw, and that's how we rejuvenate ourselves. That's how we refresh ourselves. And so it can be very easy, especially if you're introverted, as myself, it can be easy to withdraw when you're going through hard times, and it could be very tempting to push people away, and it could be very tempting to withdraw from those around you and to hide inside of a cave when you're going through hard times. Like I said, believe me, I get it. However, that is the worst thing that you could do, is isolate yourself. It's very important to surround yourself with loving and encouraging people that you trust and have your best interest in mind. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of people. Believe me, my circle is really small, but within my circle, I have a safe place. I have people that I can confide in and I can trust, and I know that they have my best interest in mind. And so you don't need a huge entourage, but a few people will do, and to be grateful for the few that you do have. One of the wonderful things I love about Hope for Single Mothers is not just because it's my ministry, my baby, my business, my nonprofit, but because it provides community. It provides a outlet and a safe place and a safe space for single mothers to connect to, and to be in a tribe and a community amongst other single mothers who can relate to them and know what they're going through. So, like I said, your circle doesn't have to be huge, but you need to connect. You need to be part of a community. We were never meant to go through this life alone, and we certainly were never meant to go through hard times alone. We need each other. We need someone. We need people. We need a support system in our life that help us to navigate through hard times. If for no other reason, to pray for us, or just offer encouragement, to offer, some advice, or sometimes we may see things or they may be able to see our blind spots and be able to offer suggestions or offer a different perspective. So when you close yourself off from people that can help you, you're really denying yourself of receiving the help and the support that you need in order to get through those hard times. So I highly suggest, I know it may be, tempting, but please don't isolate yourself. And like I said, which is why Hope for Single Mothers is the perfect community for single mothers to connect to. And while I'm on that, as I conclude, I would just like to share with you some reasons why you should join this awesome community of single mothers like yourself. First, within Hope for Single Mothers community, there are single mothers of all walks of life. I'm telling you, we have young single mothers who are just getting started on their journey. We have mothers who have a little bit more experience, and as a single mother, we have seasoned single mothers, and we even have veteran single mothers as myself. I consider myself to be a veteran right now because 4 out of 5 of my children are grown. So I have one that is in the 12th grade, and she'll be going off to college next year. So, and I've been on this journey for 15 years now. So I consider myself to be a veteran. But what I love about Hope for Single Mothers is that, like I said, we are a community. We're more just a community. We are a tribe. We have single mothers who are even grandmothers, so you will find yourself somewhere within this community and someone that you can relate to or connect to within this community. So as you can tell, like I said, this community is comprised of a very diverse group of single mothers, and I highly doubt that you would not be able to find yourself within this community, because we come from all walks of life. Yeah. So like I said, we encourage one another, we pray for one another, we celebrate one another, we empower one another. Another thing that I love about Hope for Single Mothers is that, for me, and the vision that I have behind Hope for Single Mothers is to empower you, to enrich you, and to equip you with the tools, the necessary and essential tools that you need in order to thrive as a single mother, to enhance and enrich your quality of life and your standard of living, and to provide, just financial stability and family stability and that financial security. As single mothers, we are kind of the vulnerable in society, because especially when it comes to finances, because we're the only one where a lot of people who are married and have children, they're bringing in two incomes, and but as single mothers, we have to make up that difference from that income lacking in the household. And so one of my vision and my desire is to equip single mothers, because I don't believe that it is God's will for us to struggle. I believe that as single mothers, it is very possible. And a lot of single mothers, including myself, are doing it. We're living our best life. We are thriving. You don't have to be down and out on the struggle bus as a single mother. I don't believe that is God's will for us. And so I am here to equip you. I'm here to enrich you. And when I say enrich you, offer and provide tools and provide resources for you to be able to thrive as a single mother. And not just for you, but for your children as well, okay? So I would like to take this time to extend an invitation for you to join my Single Mothers tribe, and to make Hope for Single Mothers your new community, your new tribe. So now through September 30th, I have decided to, for the most part, for the last 3 weeks or the beginning of this month, I've had the group open, accepting new membership, and I will be closing that invitation on Wednesday, September 30th. Now, you still can join. However, it would be by invitation only. So unless I was to reach out to you and invite you, or someone else that is connected to Hope for Single Mothers or come across Hope for Single Mothers were to invite you, it is a private group. And so, like I said, it's by invitation only. But if you reach out and put in a request, I will, or a moderator or administrator will go ahead and approve you. If you know someone, if you may not be a single mother, but you're watching anyhow, if you know of a single mother who you believe needs to be a part of Hope for Single Mothers, who needs to be a part of this wonderful and awesome community, I ask that you would let her know about it. Either invite her yourself, or give her the information so that she can reach out and be a part of this awesome and wonderful community. There are so many wonderful things that I have in store for the next upcoming months and even next year. I'm really excited about launching some new programs and really kind of just changing dynamics of how Hope for Single Mothers is working, and how it's going to be run. So I'll give more information. Don't want to give you too much, but I'm still working on some things. But I'm really excited about some things that I'll be rolling out in the upcoming months and launching here in 2021. And even, like I said, next month and in the month of November and December. So you want to stay tuned. If you, like I said, go ahead and like and share so that other single mothers can get connected to Hope for Single Mothers, okay? So you don't want to miss that out. You don't want to miss out on that. And I look forward to seeing you in my group. And yes, I look forward to seeing you in my group. And don't forget, after this video, go ahead and head over to Hope for Single Mothers Facebook. You can also go over to my Facebook and hit like. And also, you can head over to my Hope for Single Mothers YouTube channel. And you are free to watch archived videos as well. And if you have would like more information on how you can connect to Hope for Single Mothers or help out, you can email Hope for Single Mothers at info@h4sm.org. Okay, so I will see you on Wednesday. I will be coming back to you with my last video this month, check-in Wednesday. Until then, I leave you with love, peace, and blessings. And I thank you for watching, and you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.